Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another ugly bug fishing report with Dustin. How you doing, Dustin?
Marvin, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Just trying to stay cool, and I think you are too. It's pretty hot in Casper, isn't it?
It's hot, but it's marginally cooler than it has been. So it doesn't quite feel like the surface of the sun, so to speak. So we've had a few days of more mild temps, and it's made it a lot more enjoyable to be out on the river.
Yeah, but that being said, you've kind of had to change your approach, at least for fishing the mile, right?
Yeah, because we're a tailwater, and they have dropped our flows in the mile to 530 CFS, which is essentially, Marvin, winter flows. And being that we've been, pretty consistently in the 90s and mid 90s just about every day, those water temps really came up quite a bit. And so, early on after they dropped it, we were fishing kind of lower section where it dumps into Pathfinder up in the canyon, kind of running earlier program. We really have kind of put a pause on our trips to the mile just because of those water temps being warm, and kind of asking folks to let it be until the temps swing back into more responsible, temperatures to fish those fish there at the mile.
Yeah, but that being said, apparently the dry fly fishing on the Reef and the Bighorn's pretty good right now, right?
Yeah, it's starting to heat up. So the Bighorn has been the most effective hopper fishing we've had. We've had some really good luck of literally just throwing, a single hopper, two hoppers. Some folks have done a hopper dropper and done well there. And so the droppers that we're using, off the hopper, different annelids, caddis pattern, Sally's. But really, if folks wanted to go up and just literally cast the banks with nothing but hoppers on, that's totally fine and definitely effective. Starting this week, they are going to be bumping the flows to flush the moss out of the Bighorn. So they're going to be bumping the flows up to 3,200 until that moss flushes out. Should still make hopper fishing very, very effective, but it's going to actually, in the long run, make life a lot easier for all of us who are trying to, nymph or streamer fish the Bighorn as well.
Yeah, got it. It kind of gives me that flashback of fishing in Montana with a big juicy hopper with an itty bitty parachute Adams behind it.
Yeah. Yep. So we've had some luck doing that. Actually been having some luck with the same thing on the Reef, throwing a hopper and then behind it a smaller parachute, throwing, different Sally patterns. Those fish have been looking up and have been eating Sally's, caddis, and as we said, hoppers with increasing success. So I think it's only going to keep getting better as the summer continues on.
Yeah, and I've got a great related question from Brad. He shot this to us on Instagram, I think, and he wanted to know the best time of the day to fish hoppers on the Reef.
Yeah, mid-morning has been really, really great for that and continuing on. And I would say the early part of the evening as well. So the reason is because, early in the morning, the early parts, those fish are kind of keyed in on trichos. And so it takes them a second, a bit after that trichos kind of burn off, then start looking back over towards the banks and in that area. So mid-morning around that kind of 10:30, 11 o'clock mark has been really, really effective for hoppers on the Reef for us.
Yeah, it makes me think too about like fishing them in Montana. You always need to wait for, it to warm up a little bit so they start moving around. And then I guess ideally,
absolutely. Yep.
Even though you're rowing, you don't want the wind unless it's really, really hot. It also helps to blow them in the water too.
Yep, absolutely. And in all honesty, we don't have a ton of hoppers that are showing up at the bank yet. So smaller hopper patterns have been more effective. And those fish are looking up for sallies, and then they're taking those smaller hoppers with that. So that's the most effective means. So if folks are want to throw hoppers, I would suggest a smaller hopper pattern, and run a tag off the back with a sally on it, and you should have some pretty good success. Those fish are holding in shallow riffles, and then the deeper, slower stuff lining the bank. So it's kind of the perfect recipe for some success with hoppers. And as we said, I think it's only going to increase in validity to be throwing it and success to be throwing them as the season continues on, and we have more and more showing up, kind of on the banks. And as you mentioned, Marvin, a lot of times when you're rowing, the wind is not your friend, but during hopper season, it certainly is. So we welcome a little bit of breeze this time of year, because gives you a little respite from the heat, but it also kind of pushes some of those hoppers into the water and gets those fish kind of fired up.
Well, there you go. And folks, we love questions at the Articulate Fly. You can email them to us. You can DM us on social media. You can even drop them in the comments to our social media posts, whatever is easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some Articulate Fly swag. And I know, Dustin, as you pointed out in your Instagram feed, then you're going to enter in a drawing for a really cool fly box from the shop at the end of the season. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we're handcrafting a North Platte fly box for folks. But as we've said before, it's not going to be something that's only going to be useful in the North Platte. Any sort of tailwater, we're going to have all sorts of flies in there that folks are going to love. So that's both nymphs, that's dry flies, and streamers that folks can add to their fly box, and maybe discover some patterns that are unique to our region that they can have success with when they fish back home on their own home waters.
Yeah, absolutely makes me think about the South Holston. And, folks, even if we don't pick your question, if you just go in the shop and mention the fishing report, you'll get 10% off your purchase. And, before I let you hop, Dustin, you want to let folks know shop locations, hours, and all that good stuff, and how to book with the Crazy Rainbow?
Absolutely. Our shop, The Ugly Bug's, located downtown Casper on 240 South Center Street. Folks want to call and book a trip or have any questions regarding fishing on the North Platte or the Bighorn, they can give us a call at area code 307-234-6905.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, folks, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Dustin.
Tight lines, Marvin. Thanks so much.